Okay, we are live. Hi everyone, welcome to Rebel TV. I'm Sarah Kay. If you've been watching Rebel TV, you might notice I look a little bit different. Sorry, didn't mean to startle you. But welcome to Rebel TV. Whether you're a fellow Rebel watching us or a guest, we're really happy to have you here today. I'm really excited about today's topic. We're talking about the title is Legit Limbic Decisions. So I'm going to explain what that means. What we're talking about is how we make decisions and whether or not we're making them rationally and logically or whether we're kind of using our gut. And to give you some background, the limbic part of the brain, I've recently learned, and forgive me if I don't have all the details straight, it's just the overview, the gist of it. I've recently learned that we have this part of our brain called the limbic lobe or something, and that's where our gut feelings come from, like our intuition, if you will. And it's completely separated from any language parts of our brain and the part of our brain that we use to make decisions logically. So we're going to be exploring that today, and by we, I mean myself and Irene, who I have joining me, who is a fellow Rebel marketer. So Irene, before we jump into the topic, which I kind of already did, sorry, go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
Sure. My name is Irene Franzese, and I am a fellow marketer, a rebel marketer, and I'm a hairdresser by trade, and I still do hairdressing. I live down here in Vero Beach, Florida. I'm originally from New York. I was born in Brooklyn, but then moved out to the island when I was in my teens. And now I live in Florida. I moved out here about 25 years ago with me and my husband, and we absolutely love it. And then I found the Rebel Marketers, and I am very excited to work with them. So join us. Click the link below.
That's right. Okay, so sorry, I kind of did things out of order. Back to our topic, limbic decisions. This is really exciting. I'm really, really happy to have Irene here with me today because we're going to be able to share with you both types of decision making, both the limbic gut type of decision making and the not. So, for my part, I have generally always made decisions based on logic. And just so we're clear, that doesn't mean that any other decisions are not logical. It just means that when I go to make a decision, I tend to weigh like details and pieces of data and kind of brush to the side any other feelings that I might have that I can't justify with like hard data. Kind of like I don't know, like a computer or something like that. But basically, I try not to get feelings involved with my decisions. I just make them really, kind of straightforwardly, as logically as I can. And if it doesn't make sense to make the decision, then I don't make the decision more often than not. And my experience with that has been really interesting because I would like to think that that makes for better decisions, but what I found was that I'm not always happy with those decisions, even when they make sense. So now, Irene, I kind of want you to talk about your decision-making practices and what that's like for you, because I know it's a lot different than mine.
Mine is completely opposite of what you what you just said, because you do everything logically. I don't think I have ever done anything logically. I never write anything down. I never have a plan. I know it can be wrong in a lot of ways, but that's just what I do. I kind of go with my gut feeling. And one of the main things is like when I moved to Florida with me and my husband, it was like a gut feeling. He just put in for a transfer. He said, "What do you think?" I says, "Well, let's go for it. Why not? And we never put down on paper, all right, how much is it going to cost us? We need X amount of dollars for moving and this and that. I had a lump sum in the bank, and I said, you know what? Let's just go for it. And you know what? His family kept saying, oh, you'll be back. You'll be back. You'll hate the bugs. You'll hate this. And my husband and I say, you know what? If we don't like it, we just turn around and go north. So we just went for it. And lo and behold, we're here 25 years, and it's the best decision that we've ever made. We love it here. So sometimes a gut feeling can be, good, and sometimes bad. I mean, I've made a few decisions, a gut feeling, and it didn't work out, but you know what? I learned from it. And so that's the main thing. If you make a decision and you do something and it doesn't work out, that's okay. But make sure that you learn something from that and then move on to something else. That's how I look at it.
So That's interesting that you say, you've made some decisions using your gut feeling, for lack
Hmm.
of a better phrase. I think that's a phrase that most people get what we mean when we say that. So
Yeah.
let's stick with that. That you made some gut decisions that didn't work out so well, but you learned from them. So,
Hmm.
like for me, it's really easy for me to learn from my mistakes because I have basically a set of data or facts that I can look at and be like, oh, next time I see this alignment of data, I won't make the same decision. But how do you learn from a decision if it's based on your feelings? So foreign to me.
Well, let's see. One was definitely a business decision. I went into business and I really didn't put all my ducks in order, and that comes from not having a plan. So that is the main thing I learned right there, because there are a lot of things that happen. I said, all right, this ain't going to work out. And that didn't work out. So in that instance, you do need a game plan. So I urge everybody out there, if you're going to go into any kind of business, you need to have a game plan. So that didn't work out.
That's funny. So your
Yeah,
gut decision didn't work because you weren't thinking logically for
that's
one
right.
part of it. That's so funny because for me, the decisions that I've made rationally that I didn't incorporate any feelings at all, that those decisions that I made that didn't turn out great, it was because despite how rational and logical the decision seemed, it didn't make me happy. And so I wasn't incorporating any feelings at all. I was like, psh, feelings, whatever, if they don't match the data, they're wrong feelings. So I should just, ignore them anyway, which is, it's really interesting. I know quite a few other people who feel the same way. We'll see how it works out for them too. But it's
Absolutely.
funny that we both found that while we're more comfortable with our line of decision making and it's led to a lot of successes, the times when it's failed, it's because we didn't have a balance.
Right.
So I find that really fascinating, especially because most people are on one side of the fence or the other. You know,
Correct.
one of the things that I read when I just learned about these different parts of the brain is like I said earlier, is the part of our brain that fuels our gut decisions. First of all, it stores a ton of information, so it's not like it's a decision based on nothing. It's a decision based on all sorts of actual like data and experiences and memories that you actually have stored. But because it's disconnected or not nicely connected, I guess, to the language center of your brain, it's really, really hard to articulate. And so to me, it's really fascinating. People who make decisions largely based on their gut feelings, that they're comfortable making those decisions without necessarily being able to clearly articulate it.
Well, do you think it's are you like analytical? You like to analyze everything? See, that's where we different. That's where we are very different, because I don't analyze things. So that's what makes us different. I don't know. If I think I want to do something, I kind of don't hesitate. I just try it, and if it doesn't work, all right, well, that didn't work, so I guess the next time I have to do it differently. So then I look at it differently. So that's where I don't analyze things. So that's what makes us different.
So you're really confident then in your gut feelings.
Absolutely. And that doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make you right or wrong or me right or wrong. It's just we are two separate people. We think differently. It doesn't make it right or wrong,
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
right?
It just makes it more fascinating to me. I
Absolutely.
love like the neuroscience stuff.
So,
And
yeah.
I consider myself a very confident person, but I think that that's an area in my life because I naturally am an analytical sort of person, that because I can't analyze feelings in that same way, it makes me less confident about decisions made in that fashion.
Well, it may come down to the reason why I think the way I do. It may be because I'm a hairstylist, and I think differently. Like when I approach to do a new haircut, when sometimes someone will come in and they'll give me a picture, and there's no diagram, there's no start here, start there. It's by my experience. I kind of look at the haircut and I kind of know where it has to be shorter and longer, and so I go about it and I do it. Okay, so now sometimes it comes out extremely well, and then I say, oh, now I know exactly how to do that, so next time it does make it easier. Now, it could have turned around. I've done a few where it's not a bad haircut, but it's just something that I see and not the client that I see. I could have done it a different way. So that's where the next time, I guess being like you, analyzing, the next time I do it differently because I learned from that wrong way that I thought it was. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, that makes sense. To me, that almost brings to mind a comparison of and I think it's a good comparison of art versus
There
science.
you, there you go. That's exactly right. I'm a little bit more creative, and you you work with numbers and data and all
But
that stuff where
that,
I don't
that's where I want to interject because I can't stand math at all, but
really.
but I'm a musician. So and there's all sorts of information out there that you can easily find that shows that music is very. Oop, my lights went off. Hold on,
Oh,
just
your lights went off. Where are you?
I'm in
Blackout.
a room with motion sensor lights. I apologize.
Okay.
But there's a lot of information you can find that shows that music, while it is art in a fashion and
Yes.
creative, it's very mathy. It's very rooted in numbers. So it's just interesting that I think of myself as a creative person in that regard, but
You're
it's a
right.
completely different kind of creativity.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't realize you were into music. So
Yeah.
you have a creative side. So do you
Maybe
fight? Does your creative side fight with the other side that is, with the data and all that?
only when it comes to feelings.
Okay, I got you.
Because I don't know, I couldn't even tell you where it comes from, because my both of my parents, I think, probably make decisions more with their limbic part of their brains. I think one of them is better at articulating it than the other. So I'm not really sure where I got this need to have all the data line up. But just over the past year or so, I've really started to pay attention because I had a series of unsatisfactory results from decisions that I made entirely rationally. And so finally, like a light bulb clicked, and I said, oh, well, maybe I should pay attention to whether or not this decision actually makes me feel good, and
Yes.
weigh that in, at least to some degree.
Yes, yes, I think a little bit of that. You have to have a good feeling about it. You can't. It can't always be, by the numbers, as they say. You have to have a little bit of that gut feeling that that you feel good, so that when you do accomplish it, you feel good because you went with your gut.
I think
That's how.
especially when it comes to like really important decisions, like the decisions that I made that didn't turn out so great using just sheer logic were they were like relationship decisions. And
Oh,
so you could see where that might not turn out so well.
yes.
But I also think that it's really important, like you were saying, to use your gut feeling to make sure the decision makes you happy when it comes to stuff like business too. While you need some, data, you also need to feel good about it because like that's what you're going to be doing going forward.
Going forward, yes, absolutely.
So it definitely seems like there needs to be balance, and depending on the kind of decision you're making, you might argue that you want to pay attention a little bit more to one side or the other. What do you think? Like, what would be your recommendation for a formula, I guess, for decision making?
Oh, wow. Let me see.
Use some data, Irene.
Yeah, see the data. I don't have any data. I guess, yeah. When you're looking to make a decision, I guess you should have some kind of information, and you can go with your gut, but you do need to lay out some plans. It doesn't have to be very every little step in place because you don't know which is the right step. I mean, which is first, second, third, or fourth. You don't know, but to some degree, I do agree with you. You do need the right kind of data to make a plan of action. And then sometimes, what you can do, a couple of different plans. And then whatever makes your gut feel good, then go with that plan. And if it doesn't work out, say, oh, let's go to the other plan. So maybe that's a good idea. You have a couple of plans so
Yeah,
that you go with the one that your gut feeling is, and if it doesn't work out, so you have something else to fall back on. But if it does, wow, then that's great.
then everything worked out because you're
And
happy with
everything
it
worked out.
based on that.
Absolutely.
I think my gut feelings from personal experience, I know I can kind of judge to like how strong it is. You know, like sometimes it's just a little nag and then I get over it. And then sometimes it's this perpetual, you didn't do something or you really need to do this over and over again, you know, feeling. Do you find that you have kind of volumes of
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah. There's some things that I want so badly. I get such a gut feeling about it, and if I don't get it or if I can't get to it fast enough, yeah, it'll kill me. So yes, I do have stronger feelings at times than others. Others, I'm kind of on the fence, as they say. You know, I'm not too sure. My gut feeling says yes, but then maybe not. So you know, so
Yeah, I also think it's really interesting. Like I said, I'm sort of into neuroscience, and so I do read about this stuff for fun.
wow.
Uh,
Oh my God.
but it's comforting for me, being an analytical sort of data type person, to know that even though it's hard to articulate or explain these sort of gut feelings, um, I feel comfortable knowing that it still is based on information I have somewhere in my brain. You know, like it's not just this. I know it's not just this random, completely uninspired, radical push in some random direction. It's based on whether I can consciously think about it or not. What I've read tells me that it is based on information that I've gathered through experiences. And I think that the subconscious versus conscious works in a really similar way.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So it's kind of cool, like, because I don't like things to be mysterious. I'm okay not knowing things, but it does, it's more comforting to me to know. Like, yes, it's a random weird feeling in my gut, but it's based on something, and if I trust myself and have that confidence, you know, that it could be onto something.
So in other words, you I don't want to say that you're afraid of the unknown, but if you don't have the facts or whatever, the data, so to speak, in front of you, your gut feeling is going to say, no, you're not going to do that, because I don't want to say it's a fear of the unknown. It's just that if you can't see the outcome, you're not gonna go for it.
It's definitely a discomfort,
Yes,
for
yes,
sure.
yeah.
There could be a little bit of fear in there, and I'm doing some reflection as we're talking, and I wonder if, despite a lot of self confidence in some areas of my life, you know, maybe just lack of experience making decisions using that intuitive part of my brain has led to, you know, less confidence and a little bit of doubt. So, what's
Could
a
be.
since you're an expert on that kind of decision
Oh,
making, and
just
I would like to expand my horizons, what would be a good way to sort of get some experience without, you know, ruining my entire life?
oh my, oh, I don't want to be the one to like, no, no. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't even know where to begin. Um, oh my, I have no clue. You stumped me.
See, for
Give
me,
me.
it's easy. I could be like, if you want to start making decisions based on data, just make lists.
Well, that's it, because I just go, that's what I'm saying. I just go with my gut feeling. So I can't like just say, all right, well, all right. So the next guy that comes along and asks you out on a date, you know, and you're not too sure about it, just go for it. You know, I mean, today, in today's day and age with the iPhones, I know my girlfriend just did it. Have her girlfriend call her at a certain time when she knows she's going to be in the middle of the date, and if she's not if she's in trouble and she wants to get out, she'll answer the phone. But if she's having a good time, she just presses decline.
So that
So
goes back to like your strategy of, I'm going to go with my gut, but I know that if it doesn't work out, I can change the decision at that point.
absolutely. So there you go. You just need like a little backup plan. So if you get uncomfortable and it's not working out, you know that you have a back like an escape.
That makes me feel better. I like that.
There you go. You just have to, because you like data. So if one, you got to plan ahead. If it doesn't work out, then you have an escape route.
Kind of a check-in point.
Absolutely.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much, Irene. I thought that this was a really fun
It
conversation.
was fun.
I think the conclusion is a lot of times you need a little bit of both types of decision making.
Yes.
I think that's it. And I know that that's sort of an obvious sort of conclusion for us to come to, but I think because most people are probably more on one side of the fence, fully making decisions by their gut feeling or totally on the other, I think it's an important reminder nonetheless.
Absolutely. We're different people. There's no two people that think exactly alike, so you're either on one side or you're on the other. Like I said, I don't think there's a right way or a wrong way. You just have to go with your gut feeling.
Or
Sorry.
carefully plan it out, either
There
way.
you go.
All right, well, that about wraps up our episode today. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're a fellow Rebel marketer or a viewer. We're really glad to have you here, especially if you're a guest viewer. I hope you got some value out of this, and if you'd like to learn more about what we do, why we do it, I'm sure there's a link below, or get back with the person who invited you to find out more. For future reference, because I know that this was so good, you're going to be back for more, we do have a Rebel TV episode every Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And it's only about 20 minutes, so, take a lunch break or late lunch, I guess, on the East Coast. For me, it's noon. But and join us and just have fun and learn something. Irene, any closing thoughts?
No, just nope. Like, if you want to know more about the Rebels, just click the link below and you're going to love it. It's a great team.
All right, that's all for now. Bye.
Bye.